We just spent the most amazing month in Alaska. But now it's time to get back down to the lower 48 to complete our mission of seeing all 50 states.
We're going back a different way than we came. We picked up the Alaska Highway in Tok, but now we're gonna jump back off of it and take the Stewart-Cassiar Highway down through British Columbia so we can visit Vancouver before going back into the US. Let's go!
We just arrived at the junction of Route 37, which is the Stewart-Cassiar Highway. It runs south off of the Alaska Highway between Nugget City to the west and Watson Lake to the east. Watson Lake is a great place, by the way, to get services if you need them before you head south. So as I mentioned, we took care of the van, all of our services taken care of in Watson Lake, but now we want to take care of ourselves and fuel up before we hit this highway. We are at Courtney Caribou's Cook Shack, which it turns out has only been here for 2 weeks, right at the junction. So if you're taking the Stewart-Cassiar Highway, make sure you stop by here because this place looks fantastic. We are excited to get breakfast burritos, which they serve all day. So that's gonna be our lunch for today before we hit the road. And she was telling us that if you like it with bacon, she gets the bacon from a great local spot. So definitely something worth trying if you're in the area. The spot, and now we're hitting the road.
Unlike our Alcan Highway trip, we did virtually no planning for this one. We know it's gonna take us probably 3 to 4 days, including a little side trip we plan to make. But other than that, we're just gonna wing it and see whatever we see along the way. This is our first stop off the Stewart-Cassiar Highway. This is Jade City. We didn't know what to expect when we saw this on the map, but this place is awesome. They mine all of the jade just about 60 miles from here, right over that way. And look at these massive pieces.
To see one of the guys here polishing some of the jade, and we learned 2 things about it. One, a tiny piece like this much could be like a couple $100. It is very expensive. And 2, 80% of the jade in the entire world comes from right here in British Columbia. I had no idea. Also worth noting that they offer free RV parking here and they're a harvest host. But we're gonna go on a little further before we stop for the night. We considered it though. Well, we're a couple of hours in now and so far, it's a pretty uneventful drive, a little bit bouncy. The road's a little bit rougher than most of the Alaska Highway is, but for the most part, it's been really quiet and very peaceful. We've passed a few lakes and other bodies of water, creeks and rivers and that sort of thing, but it's mostly just going through forests and seeing mountains up ahead of us, and the bear that we spotted.
Yeah, one black bear.
As we mentioned, we didn't do a whole lot of research before doing this trip, so for all we know, it could be like this the entire way down. I'm hoping there are a couple more exciting stops. That Jade store was really cool, so I'm hoping we find another couple of cool places to stop and learn a little bit more about the area on the way. But either way, it's just a very pleasant drive, so we're enjoying the view and kind of just chilling. we made a quick stop here in Dees Lake. I think that's how you say it, maybe Dees Lake? Anyhow, just stretching our legs real quick, and we saw this really cool sign here. Welcome Arctic Pacific Crossroad. Apparently just head down the road there too is the Arctic Pacific Divide. We've been on the Continental Divide a few times before in various spots, but didn't even occur to us about an Arctic Pacific Divide. So this is kind of cool to stop and see. We're gonna read a little bit about it and then carry on. Real quick, we got to the town of Iskut, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, and as we were driving through, I just saw this little sign for something that maybe looks like it could be a festival. It's called Iskut Days, and it seems to be going on through tomorrow. So we turned around and we're gonna check it out and see if maybe we can join the town in celebrating something. In and discovered that this is a music festival, which is awesome. It's so up our alley. Unfortunately, nothing has really gotten going yet. The stage is set up, but there's no one performing. We didn't see a schedule anywhere, so it wasn't really clear how soon it would be going. It's already starting to get kind of late, and we still have more than an hour to drive to where we wanted to stop for the night. So unfortunately, we decided we're not going to stick around and enjoy the festival with everyone. Also, we did feel a little bit awkward because it's really obvious that this is the event of a small community, and we are very obviously not from here because it's one of those communities where clearly everybody knows everybody, and we know about that because we both grew up in small towns in the Northeast where you could immediately spot a person who was not from there, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We got a lot of really friendly looks, some kind of interested looks. They were not at all unfriendly, but it was still just enough to make us feel like the sticking out sore thumbs and maybe just want to excuse ourselves. So we're gonna mosey on, head on down, not up, the highway a little bit further until we get to our spot for the night.
Part of not having any plans for this drive includes not having any plans for where we're going to sleep every night. But we do know that it's going to be boondocking. We're driving enough and we're getting enough sun that power is not a concern in the van. It's just a matter of what we find as we go. We got this nice little pull off here. It's already 8:30 and we haven't had dinner yet, so we're calling it right here.
I'm not gonna lie, last night was rough. Somehow we let a ton of mosquitoes into the van and they were just buzzing our ears all night long. The two of us were just smacking ourselves in the head as we were trying to sleep and therefore waking each other up each time as well. So we're starting out this morning with a lot of coffee, some puffy eyes, but we're very excited to continue along the highway. We're at the point in our journey where we're going to venture off of the Stewart-Cassiar Highway and actually go to the town of Stewart. You may recall that the Stewart-Cassiar Highway is Route 37, and there's this little offshoot that goes to Stewart. It's Route 37A. We are going to take that today, spend the night in Stewart, hopefully see a pretty epic glacier while we're there, and then we'll come back and take the rest of the Stewart-Cassiar Highway down to its conclusion. What do you think? Time for some lunch with a view?
Yeah.
worry about the windshield. We keep washing it, but the bugs keep getting at it. Not much we can do. Guess what, guys? We're going back to Alaska! We are, but only for just like a few minutes, probably. We just stopped in the town of Stewart, which we came to see some glaciers, but then on the way in, we saw that they have some epic bear viewing in the area. So we stopped at the visitor center here to see what that was all about, and it turns out it's just a few kilometers up the road, but it's in Hyder, Alaska. So we are going to go through that area, see if we can see some bears catching salmon. We tried this, by the way, at least 3 times when we were in Alaska and had absolutely no luck. We didn't see a single bear the entire month we were there.
Yeah, really hard to believe, isn't it?
Totally, especially since as soon as we got back to Canada, we started seeing bears again. So I don't know what's going on up in Alaska, but they're hiding them from us. Anyhow, we're gonna give Alaska one last shot to show us some of their bears, hopefully catching salmon. I think that would be so epic to see. And then we're gonna continue on back into Canada to see Salmon Glacier. Back in Alaska. So there wasn't a whole lot happening on the boardwalk right now, but they said the bears have been coming back at night, usually around 8 or 9 o'clock. It's currently maybe 2 in the afternoon. So we are gonna drive to see a glacier, and then we'll come back here a little later and hopefully see those bears. We got about 17 miles of this. You got it, babe. This road is not for the faint of heart. We are bouncing all over the place. There's no paving for many, many miles, and there are definitely signs at the beginning of it, which starts, by the way, right after Fish Creek Wildlife Overlook. So pretty much that's as far as you're gonna go if you have a large vehicle, like a large RV, Class A, long trailer, that sort of thing. They recommend that you not bring it up here. We have seen a couple of Class C's on our way, and other vans as well, so we feel like we're pretty okay driving it, but man, we are taking it slow.
And by the way, we crossed back into Canada a few hundred potholes back there.
So bouncy. And yes, we have passed through more than a couple avalanche areas, so that's super fun too. Said that right before we came up on this sign. We weren't super concerned, but now I'm a little more nervous. Do you have the same feeling I do that Mom and Dad are gonna watch this vlog and never let us out of the house again?
They're your mom and dad.
Oh, now they're mine.
You're gonna get grounded.
He always calls them Mom and Dad. They are ours, but now they're mine. I don't know. I mean, look guys, so far we're avoiding being hit by all these massive boulders coming down the cliffs. We just got sight of the glacier up ahead. It's kind of down into a valley a bit, so I'm not sure how much further we have to actually get to the toe of the glacier, but we're getting close, and it's very exciting. stop here
Your
first.
destination will be on the right.
This is not the end point that we had in mind.
Whoa, there
Wow. Well, this is not our stop.
it is. I know, but it's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's amazing of a view. But with all that drive, I am so nervous about continuing on to get down there.
Yeah.
On the flip side, there's a fire ring right there. This could be home for the night, if you wanted. Getting close, less than a kilometer from the next stop.
Wow.
How do we get to the point in the pictures? Wow, look at that. We are driving right alongside a massive glacier. Look at that blue in there. It's just incredible. Pardon the mess, but just wanted to show off that our build is totally, okay, we got some things popping open back there, but other than that, it's totally holding together. Our little DIY project is surviving these awful roads. I am very proud of us all. Just another casual glacier right across the way from Steven.
Yeah.
We got a waterfall and snow. Let's take a shower / snowball fight break.
Polar plunge.
It's not even that cold out. That's the wild thing. We're in t-shirts right now and totally comfortable. We are not where we wanted to go yet, still. But we did not expect to have this view of a glacier. This is a first for us to be up above it, overlooking it like this. We kind of had something like this at Exit Glacier in Alaska, but this is just so incredible to see like this. We are absolutely awestruck.
You can hear the water flowing. You can't even really see it. It looks like just a trickle over there, but it sounds like it's freaking rushing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
This thing just doesn't end.
This is so massive. It's incredible. But we still haven't gotten to the part that's in the picture. Okay, just as a point of reference here, we have this brochure as well as others, and they show a pretty iconic photo of where we're trying to get. It's right there. I mean, look, you can just park up and there is the glacier. But we have no idea where that is because we feel like we're way above that at this point. That is just incredible.
It's like the beginning of the universe.
Okay, I see outhouses. I think we have finally made it! Yes! Ah, and we're not alone! If we get stuck up here now, at least we'll have friends. Holy sh**. This epic view was going to be our view for the whole night. There are fire rings and picnic tables, even bathrooms here. They're, pit style, but, bathrooms nonetheless. Because this is a place where you can actually boondock. It would be totally illegal for us to stay here for the night and just have this right outside our window. And that was absolutely the dream until we heard bears fishing, and then everything changed. We just really had this vision of seeing bears catching salmon, and we never got to see any bears at all doing anything in all of Alaska. So the fact that we have this one more chance to see that really makes us want to go back down and check that out. The ticket we purchased earlier, by the way, it's $6 per person. It's a $5 per person ticket plus $1 each for a service charge on recreation.gov. So you do need to buy tickets in order to go on that boardwalk and see if you can see any of the bears, mink, anything else. The ticket we bought was good for the whole day, so you can leave and come back at any time. So that's part of the reason we really want to take advantage and try to see it tonight, because we already have a ticket for it since we were there earlier today. However, if we're not lucky enough to see it tonight, we can buy another ticket tomorrow and give ourselves another shot first thing in the morning, and maybe we'll catch a breakfast. So we're making our way back down this treacherous road. We were feeling pretty good about ourselves getting all the way up there, and now we're hearing an awful sound coming from under the van. I really hope we don't have a major problem on our hands. We're just gonna take it nice and slow and easy going down, but we pulled over for a second and Steven got out to check it out, and there was nothing obvious under there. There was nothing hanging or anything that he could see that was loose. So we're not really sure what to make of this, and we're not really in a place where we can diagnose it very easily. So it's a little bit scary now. Oh my God. Right at the foot of the glacier. We survived that crazy drive down, and now we're back at the wildlife viewing platforms where we're hoping to see some bears. But in the meantime, there are a couple active beavers right out there. Pretty epic to watch him pulling that thing to build his little home. There's another one behind it, swimming out to get something. Oh, this is so rad. Returning to the Beaver to see how far it's made it to take the branch home. He started over there. Now he's right there. Slow and steady builds the dam. This dam is over here. He's got that much further to go. Hi. Oh, it's so cute. Oh my God. There's just something so zen about watching those beavers at work, because they swim so smoothly and they move with purpose, but there's no rush about it. They know they're gonna get it done. They know they're gonna get there in their time. I could just watch them swim back and forth for hours.
been here for, I don't know, more than an hour now.
Yeah.
And we have just over an hour before they shut down the viewing platform for the night. It closes at 10 p.m. So we're gonna just chill, keep watching, and hope we see some bears. I think either way, though, we're gonna come back tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Unless it's like pouring rain or something miserable. We'll probably get up very, very early, try to be here for when they open at 6 a.m. and get the breakfast one.
Yeah.
30 minutes to go. No luck tonight, but this has honestly been one of my favorite days so far, I think, on this whole trip.
Yeah.
We still saw some really cool wildlife. We had that amazing view of the glacier, and we just got a tip about a nice, close park up that we can spend the night at. And that way, we'll be very close for when we come back in the morning at like 6 a.m. I'm not looking forward to that morning, but
It's gonna be awesome.
it'll be worth it. We are just up the road a little bit from the viewing center, and we're back on that gravel road that we took earlier. So we just had to come up a little ways this time, so it wasn't nearly so bad. This way, we can roll out of bed right before they open in the morning. We don't have to get up too much earlier. We don't have a long It's 6 in the morning. There's not much that gets me up and out the door by 6 in the morning. And I'm starting to question if bears are really among those things. There's no food or drink allowed here in the viewing area, so we couldn't bring any coffee with us. And there's something up here. We just got a wave from one of the rangers. So, okay, I perked up real fast. I guess I don't need coffee after all.
A bear was spotted along this creek down here, but everybody's waiting because it could pop back out here, or it could come out over here.
Or it could go the other way.
It could do anything it wants because it's wild.
Might be bear time. Well, so far there have been 2 bears spotted, a grizzly and a black bear, but they vanished about as quickly as they were spotted, so Steven and I saw nothing. It's really amazing though, because the black bear especially was seen crossing the creek. And I don't know if you can see, but that's just a narrow strip of shrubbery between the creek and the road just behind it. And it was in there. And it managed to make its way down the creek and up and across the road down that way a while. And nobody saw it. Like, we couldn't spot it in there at all until it came out and crossed the road. These things are like ninjas.
They're these big roly-poly animals, and yet they could be out there rustling through the brush. You don't see one leaf move. It just blows my mind.
It's a lot of just waiting and watching. We may see something, we may not. That's nature. But this is actually just a really beautiful place to spend a morning. Got the sound of the creek, the little one behind us as well that's rushing a little bit more. The occasional sound of the car on the road there. Some birds tweeting, and it smells incredible. The pine or spruce, I think it is. It smells so good. So it's really not a bad place to hang out and just have a really chill day. But we do hope to see bears anyway. That would just be the cherry on top. So it's starting to seem like we're not gonna get any bears eating here. And part of the reason is because there are hardly any salmon running yet. It's kind of late in the season. Not late in the season, but it's late for the start of the season. So it's a little surprising that they're not here, except for the fact that you may have noticed I added a layer this morning. It has been getting colder and colder since we got here. And it turns out that that is likely from an annual phenomenon that may be happening right now. And that may be causing the salmon to wait a little longer than usual to go through their run, which is also causing there to be fewer bears. Amazing how nature just has like a whole chain like that. Anyhow, that event is called a yuckalup, which is really fun to say. It's based on an Icelandic word that apparently sounds nothing like that. But around here, that's how they say it. The glacier that we saw yesterday, Salmon Glacier, has a lake next to it. It's actually quite large. It looked pretty small in comparison to the glacier itself, but it's huge. And every year when the melt really starts to happen more rapidly, like it is right now, that lake just kind of bursts and it floods down the mountain and floods the Salmon River, which is very close to us. That causes all kinds of ice cold water and even small glacier to come flowing through. And that is probably why we're feeling colder today, because it's probably happening right now. I meant icebergs, not glaciers. This whole rush of water can cause flooding. It has actually washed out the roads in the past. And this cool phenomenon is preventing us from seeing bears today. 10 a.m., 4 hours in, and no bears for us.
Bummer.
But I think we know why. So we're gonna make our way out of town because we have to drive the rest of the Stewart-Cassiar Highway today. I almost didn't get that out. Okay, we made our way back to Stewart and had a little lunch. Topped up our coffee because we are running on 2 nights of poor sleep now. And we got some mellow music going here. You can probably hear it a little bit in the background. We're making our way now down the 37A, aka the Glacier Highway, to reconnect to 37, the Stewart-Cassiar Highway, which we are going to continue south for about another hour and a half or so. And that's where it finally ends. So let's see what the rest of the Stewart-Cassiar Highway has to offer. Further confirming our theory that we just aren't meant to see bears in the United States. We left a viewing platform in Alaska that is famous because people always see bears there. There were 2 there while we were there, and we saw none. We gave it a couple chances, by the way, the night before and then this morning. However, less than an hour back into Canada, we've seen bears. We didn't catch them on film, but we've seen 2 bears so far. So I think if we want to see bears, we just gotta keep coming back to Canada. We're about 20 kilometers from the end of the Stewart-Cassiar Highway now. That's about 12.5 miles. So we're pretty close to done.
Yeah.
And I think this is the last stop we're gonna make. We weren't even sure we were gonna make any more. But we suddenly saw a sign for an historic village. Well, it's called, what is it, Gitanyao?
I think so, yeah.
I'm probably saying that wrong, but we'll put it on the screen so you can see how it's spelled, and then someone can correct us in the comments. Please do. And as we drove up here, we saw these incredible totem poles. Just
fantastic. The carvings on these. I'm always amazed when I see this kind of work. And this is kind of a really exciting and cool way to wrap up this whole trip. I gotta say, the Stewart-Cassiar Highway itself is absolutely beautiful.
Very pretty.
But if you're gonna go up or down it to or from Alaska, you could easily blow through it. If you wanted a really long driving day, you could do it in just one day.
Oh yeah, easily.
But I would say give yourself 2 days, right?
Yep,
At least 2 days. There's not a lot to stop and do or see along the way. However, if you can afford that third day to go to Stewart.
Yes, 100%. I know where you're going with this.
Yes, that is the highlight.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of our highlights of the entire summer. So get yourself that incredible perspective over a massive glacier.
It's something you've never seen, I promise.
It is just so incredible. I mean, you've got to do it. And of course, the wildlife viewing, with or without bears, the wildlife viewing at the Fish Creek.
Oh yeah, it is just so serene there, even though the bears didn't show up for us. Just the hope that they might. And then all the other wildlife that was there, really small things, but super cute and really interesting. And it's always awesome to talk to the rangers and
We learned
find out.
so much, didn't we? So anyhow, definitely a side trip that can totally make or break the whole trip up the Stewart-Cassiar Highway. That's gonna be it for us. Next up, we're gonna drive the Sea to Sky Highway. We're just going from highway to highway here. But we're on our way to Vancouver. Thank you so much for watching, you guys.
See you next time.